let's move on to the Clermont game. And you go into the game off the back of a loss against Northampton, and do you look at that game against Northampton and pick up the positives, or do you look at where you might have fallen down and try and stop those from happening against the French?
Well, yeah, just do a little bit of both. We've looked through the game in detail, and the reality is I think we had the lion's share of possession and territory. Did we turn that efficiently into points? No. Did we make some errors that took the pressure off them and put pressure on ourselves? Yes, we did. But were we trying to make a shift into playing a little bit more as the ground firmed up? We did. And I kind of think the shift wasn't too bad. There was plenty of times where it was a 4-point game. When it's a 4-point game, next score is going to pretty much decide things. But we never probably really appreciate the pressure that Northampton were under. It really was a massive game for them. And I think there's a few things we could have done that would have really kind of extended that pressure and maybe tipped things more our way. But I'm very pleased with the bones of our game. To go to Gloucester and lose by 2 points in a performance we were very happy with, but someone else's performance we weren't quite so happy with, and it made it a difficult result for us to stomach a little bit. Very late draw against Bath. Almost last play of the game for them to draw a game that we were totally in control of. I can't sit here and say there's massively things wrong with our game, because there isn't. We came up a little bit short in some tough fixtures. You just got to work hard and come through them in the future.
You look at the players they've got. Lee Burns fit again, Rougeries fit again, Sivi Vartu's there. All these sorts of players that they've got. And is this possibly the toughest away trip in the club's history? Yeah,
probably. But as I said, that's a great experience. I think they're unbeaten at home last 53 games. But what is the Heineken Cup for if it isn't for this kind of experience? And we've talked a little bit about it. For me, that just creates a fantastic opportunity. People could be talking about this game for a long time if we win it. If we lose it, it'll be what everybody expects. So I'm not overly concerned again with worrying about what the outcome of the game is. We prepared well this week. We've looked to move forward as a team, regardless of the Clermont fixture. Not everything we've done this week has been in preparation for Clermont. A lot of what we do on a week-by-week basis is to look to improve us as a side and learn from things we're getting wrong. And I think we've done that very well. And I know that we'll turn up in France and we put in a big energetic performance. When we play well and we play with energy and we play with ambition, we're a good side. And that's all I want us to do.
Thank you very much.
In terms of Clermont, Rob, what have you learned from the previous fixture here? Have you learned a bit more about them and what to expect?
Well, if you don't tackle them, they're running tries pretty much, and I think we learned that the hard way. When we control possession, we look dangerous. We've looked through the game again in detail this week, and particularly for the first 50 minutes, we were in huge control of a lot of things that happened. And ironically, the try that probably really turned the momentum of the game came in a rather strange way, with a ball shooting out the side of a ruck, as we committed attackers to clear the ball, and a guy got pretty much a clear run in down the blind side, and that kind of just hurt us for a little bit, and we didn't recover that quickly at that stage. And then ultimately, we finished the game with 2 injuries to scrum halves, not 15 players on the pitch, not people in recognised positions, and so we know we were competitive against them, but at the same time we know that when they carried and we didn't stick our first tackles in particular, and we lost a bit of momentum, they became very dangerous. So there's elements that we focused on since then, and we know what we have to do. But a lot of teams have gone over there and probably felt they know what they have to do, and you come unstuck. So there's going to be an element of us kind of just getting in their faces and trying to break what they do up, as well as trying to force our game plan on the game as well.
Does it show how far the club has come now that you're looking forward to these next 2 fixtures in particular against 2 of the biggest names in European rugby?
Yeah, to a degree. We had a good, particularly the last third of the season last year, and that's still got to be our focus this year, because the Heineken Cup, as I said right at the start of the season, has been a reward for a good season last year, and that has to be our focus. We've got to keep moving forward as a side. It's not all about Clermont this week. What we have to do is learn from this game, go into it flat out, like we say about every Heineken Cup game. Some you win, some you lose. We've learnt that. We've beaten Scarlets, we've narrowly lost to Leinster, but what you have to do is play with ambition and give yourself the best opportunity, and that'll improve as a side. But for me, that is my primary focus, is us continuing to improve as a side. We're not going to focus on one game, any particular one game, because ultimately I'd like to see us go on a run of really good performances as the grounds harden up, and really go on a bit of a charge towards the end of the season, and make sure that we can maybe get a reward of Heineken Cup rugby again. But that will come on us having to play very well over the final third of the season.
You've talked about small margins in the last few weeks. It literally is that in the 3 Premiership games in particular.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. And people sometimes need to remember, we won pretty much with the last play of the game at Gloucester last year, and everyone talked about it as being one of the greatest away performances we'd ever put in. Well, up there this year we were in control of most of the game, and we went behind in the last 5 minutes after a couple of speculative penalty awards against us, but had controlled most of the rest of the game. So what was the better performance? In a lot of ways, our performance against Gloucester this season was more complete and more composed. And yet, people don't remember it like that. But from a coaching point of view, you have to look at the details of what happened against Bath. We've actually never been in that much of a control of a game against Bath ever before, and they were the team that was celebrating sneaking a late draw. That kind of is steps forward, and you've got to appreciate their steps forward. And the results don't always show that, but that doesn't mean the performances and the way the players are improving aren't still positive.